Do I sound like Lisa Marie? Oh no, Felix is a failtard. Felix needs to go back and get the Vaseline.
So, this one's going out to all my subscribers. Mark Dice has been trolling us for a good, I say 3 or 4 months. Okay, Mark Dice.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. Oh, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me? Oh, stand by me. Whoa.
The following program contains disturbing subject matter and images. Viewer discretion is advised.
Your only chance to evacuate is to leave with us.
Charismatic leaders.
What happened there was murder.
And faithful followers.
Here were these 39 bodies laid out with these plastic bags.
This was a mass suicide.
Threatening families, friends, and even national security.
This was the first act of bioterrorism in the history of the United States.
Does the American public have something to fear from an estimated 5,000 religious, political, and satanic cults?
If America has a big secret about cults, it's that we provide incredibly fertile ground for them.
Or is it already too late?
The decision was made to go tactical. That turned out to be a terrible decision, and people died because of it.
And it's widespread?
Oh, yeah. I was surrounded by them when I was 14 years old. Surrounded. Literally. Didn't even know it. It wasn't until I was old enough to realize what they were and what they wanted and what they were about and the types of people that were surrounding me till I went, oh my God, they were everywhere like vultures.
Vultures who Feldman says abused him and his best friend, the late child actor Corey Haim, his co-star in The Lost Boys.
Well, what happens if my mom is dating the head vampire?
Feldman says the trauma of that pedophilia contributed to Haim's death.
There's one person to blame in the death of Corey Haim, and that person happens to be a Hollywood mogul. And that person needs to be exposed, but unfortunately I can't be the one to do it. But the person that knows who did it and knows who he is watching right now, I guarantee you. Yeah.
Intriguing.
Yeah. There was a circle of older men that surrounded themselves around this group of kids. And they all had either their own power or connections to great power in the entertainment industry.
Feldman won't name names. And he admits his friend had a struggle with addiction, which he says was a mechanism to cope with his demons.
It was a symptom.
It was a symptom, correct.
Are we in it?
Their names stand as infamous landmarks in American culture. Heaven's Gate, the Branch Davidians, the People's Temple, But they are only the tip of an enormous iceberg. According to government statistics, there are an estimated 5,000 cults currently operating in the United States. And each year, there are approximately 200,000 Americans who serve as secret and, for the most part, willing members.
The people who are getting drawn into cults are rather different demographic than we were seeing in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Back then, it was mostly young people who were getting involved. So today, it's people who are more in their 30s, 40s, 50s. And that's because I think a lot of the cults have gotten rather savvy, and they realize that recruiting young people is a hassle.
Many of the cults deliberately recruit people who are highly educated, who are affluent, because they can exploit them more effectively. I have met brilliant people, absolutely brilliant people who have been pulled into cults.
The kingdom of God is the consciousness of God.
But just what are these cults? And what is the secret of their allure?
People don't know they're joining a cult. I mean, if they knew that, they probably wouldn't ever join. So you won't find too many cults.
River spent his early years on the road in Latin America. He wasn't River Phoenix then, he was River Bottom. His parents, John and Arlen Bottom, were missionaries for a Christian cult called the Children of God. River's dad, John, held the grand title Archbishop of Venezuela and the Caribbean. They went wherever God sent them. Mexico, Puerto Rico, Venezuela. It was an unsettled existence. They had no friends, no home. Often struggling to make ends meet, they trusted in God to provide. Actually, it was often River. At the age of 5, he and his younger sister Rain were busking on the streets to feed the family. After 3 years on the road, his parents had had enough. In Caracas, they threw themselves on the mercy of Father Stephen Wood.
I was at that time pastor of this church and had been a friend of the Children of God for many years. And this family showed up saying that they were leaving the Children of God and needed help. They had decided that they could no longer accept the directions they were receiving from headquarters. They found them increasingly at odds with what they read in the Bible.
The Children of God would later become notorious for their ideas about sex. Teaching that sex was just another way of showing God's love, couples often swapped partners. Children were encouraged to sleep in the same bed as their parents while they made love, and children were to be initiated into sexual practices at the age of 4.
Blow my nose off instead of my fucking head.
I don't think he really thought he had a chance in life, that his life was already over. It had been ruined.
He would tell me I just want to die. I'm just tired of this life. I'll never be free from this pain and this past.
The goal is to bring down those sick fuckers, Mama and Peter. My own mother. What an evil little... God damn. How can you do that to kids? How can you do that to kids that sleep at night? I don't fucking know. Anyway.
You know, everything was backwards the way we were growing up. Absolutely everything. And everything that was wrong, we were taught was right. Everything that was really evil and wicked and perverted was done in the name of Jesus. It really does fuck your head up.
And actually, when I joined, there were 200 people. Within 3 years, there were 10,000 people.
The Children of God were founded in 1968 in Southern California by a charismatic Baptist minister called David Berg. At first, Berg preached a simple gospel, prophesying the second coming of Jesus. But as his popularity grew, his sermon became more disturbing.
Called to live and die for the kingdom has begun.
By the early 80s, as film from the time shows, Berg's band of hippie followers had mobilized into a disciplined army of converts. Changing their name to the Family, they fanned out across the globe.
Kind of got sucked in, you know, and I got sucked in before I knew what, I really thought I was joining a Christian organization. I thought it was what God wanted me to do. I had no idea that, it eventually would turn into dark betrayal.
To the outside world, the Family was a missionary organization, spreading their word from Mexico City to Manila. But behind the closed doors of their communes, free love was their theology.
At the age of 7, I remember it was in Panama, and it was New Year's. And I slept on.
But he hungered for a more challenging role. In the independent film My Own Private Idaho, River gambled his reputation as a star by portraying a male prostitute.
And one evening he said, because he played a hustler, and he said, Udo, let's go to the real hustlers. I said, okay.
What is your reaction? Me looking like I am, let's say I'm 22, I'm just doing it, which is a very rare date, I assume.
Then I picked somebody out, and I interviewed the boy. And River was sitting there, totally concentrated of listening to what the boy had to say, because that's a practice. If you're an actor, you play a hustler, you don't have to go to bed with people to know the feeling. I mean, you can learn it another way.
Did you ever have any sort of care or emotional response to someone who picked you up? Did you ever feel like they were looking for more than just the lust? No. It was very cold.
Yeah, it was cold, yeah.
And very technical.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all for him, not for you.
Exactly.
So, Rev.
Sir.
Why are you doing this part?
I'm doing this part because I feel there's a theme that is stronger than any.
But living amongst real street kids brought with it the harsh realities of street life.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. I remember after River had done heroin, me asking him, is this the first time you've ever done it? And him telling me no. But I also remember not believing him. And that was during the making of My Own Private Idaho. I wouldn't want to blame anybody for that. You can't really say that it's, the circumstances surrounding one character choice. He made the choice. He decided to do the role. And, any actor will tell you, you can try to imagine it or you can live it. And, his style was, I want to live it.
River himself wrote the key scene of the film, where his confused and lost character struggles through his pain to make a human connection.
For me, I could love someone even if I wasn't paid for it. I love you. And
seeing global fame before you're in your double digits can mean a world of personal problems is coming your way. Gary Coleman overcame kidney disease, which stunted his growth, to become America's favorite wisecracking kid on hit sitcom Different Strokes. But some poor financial advice and a distinct lack of roles for a wisecracking kid from the 80s meant that by the early 90s, he was scratching out a living on reality TV and as an LA shopping mall security guard. Macaulay Culkin rose to fame with the 1990 hit Home Alone, and by the early 90s was considered the world's top child star. But the pressures of sudden fame, the failure of films such as Richie Rich, and his close association with the increasingly bizarre Michael Jackson all took their toll. And by the mid-90s, Culkin had conspicuously disappeared from acting, only returning to the big screen after nearly a decade.
Oh, it hasn't been that difficult to stay away. It was very I basically got to a point in my life where I didn't want to do it anymore. And once I got to that point where I had that freedom to say, I don't want to do it, I stopped doing it altogether.